Yeah, you're welcome back to Project Management Demystified. So, what could go wrong on a project? What could go wrong on a project, and how do you manage things going wrong? So, this is episode, I think 16. Yeah, episode 16 of our reducing our carbon footprint, and I've been going into a number of places. So, in the last episode, I kind of covered something going wrong, and there's a surprise or throwing some spanner in the works, and things just coming to our understanding that might not necessarily be what we're expecting. So we're trying to reduce our carbon footprint. That has been established, but we realized that we could actually be increasing our carbon footprint with the activity we're doing, or we could just be keeping our carbon footprint the same way but transferring to someone else. So it could be transferring to a stakeholder or a client. And what do we do in those kind of situations? So as a project management professional, I'll say again that it might not necessarily be your decision, but again, I said in the last episode, in episode 15, that you're facilitating conversations. So the kind of conversations you'll be facilitating in this kind of situation will be to create options, make options available. So we've come to this, this has been brought to our notice that we could either be keeping our carbon footprint the same and transferring what we're using, what our carbon footprint is, or we could actually be using more, but just because it's not reflecting in our own systems and our own infrastructure or estates, then we think we're off the hook. So when I'm working on projects, I try to understand the core values of what we're trying to achieve. So if I'm working on an IT project, I try to understand, what are we trying to achieve with the customer? So we're trying to make the customer's lives better. So when you understand the core values of the project that you're working on, that can then kind of serve like a guardrail, like what underpins the decisions that you'll be making. So in this instance, let's just assume that the organization has some purpose-driven values of having a better environment, having a better environment. So that would have been some of the reasons, some of the drivers for trying to reduce carbon footprint in the first place. So we have now come to this crossroads where the activity that we're doing might not actually yield the result that we're expecting, even though based on just solely looking at the organization, the carbon footprint will be reducing. But because of the kind of organization that we're conscious that the carbon footprint might just be transferred to somewhere else, and everywhere is still linked to everywhere when it comes to climate change and being environmentally friendly. Whatever is happening in one country could be felt and impacts another country. So having that kind of mindset and background, the organization could take the decision to kill the project, regardless of how much we spend. Whatever we spend is a sunk cost. We could also decide that, okay, maybe if we're trying to reduce by 50% or 80%, that might not be achievable at this rate. Another option could be, okay, let's reduce by 20% or 30%. That's still progress, and we can then plan to do some other things next time. But I'm not being prescriptive. I'm just describing the options that could happen, and these options would be through different workshops and meetings and facilitations. And the project management professional is a bystander, but an active bystander. You're just facilitating. You try as much as possible to be objective, because there's a risk that we bring in our own biases. So 2 sides or 3 sides or 4 different point of views are coming in, and if we then come in with our own biases, we could tend to want to tilt or impact the dynamics. So try as much as possible. I know it's very difficult, but we can do it in ways that we can speak to ourselves, within ourselves, and be like, is this really what someone has said, or is this just me trying to influence the conversation here and trying to tilt the dynamics of where the conversation is going? So it's usually interesting having these kind of conversations, and you just hope that stakeholders will kind of arrive at a consensus based on the direction and the values and the goals that the organization wants to achieve, and you help them get to that North Star. I'll leave you there and see you on the other side. Cheers. Bye-bye.